A group with 7 key reinforcements is revolutionizing the squad's approach on the field, validating the strategic choices of the management to raise the competitiveness level of our team. However, amidst this great collective evolution, the sudden departure of our main runner generated concern and opened the door to absurd speculations that tried to divert the focus from our preparation. The coaching staff is now racing against time to ensure that this athlete's recovery occurs without rush, ensuring that the attack maintains its maximum strength for the challenges ahead. I will tell you all the details about these reinforcements that are changing the team's status, the real physical condition of our runner, and why his presence is indispensable for our attack. Leave your like on the video, it's just a click, and it helps me a lot. Adam Peters entered this offseason knowing that the previous strategy did not work. Washington reached the NFC final and began to believe that it was ready to take the decisive step. The organization bet on veterans, hoped that experience would be enough, and ended up winning only 5 games. Injuries worsened the situation, but the lack of renewal also became evident. The general manager's response was a deep restructuring. Instead of keeping the roster practically the same, Peters prioritized young, athletic, and motivated players to prove their worth. Some veterans were signed to fill gaps, but the main idea became to build a team capable of competing now and continuing to grow in the coming years. The first signs from the preseason show that this change may be working. There is more speed on both sides of the field. Players seem to act with greater urgency, and the atmosphere conveys a genuine desire to correct the problems from the previous campaign. It is still not possible to guarantee that everything will work out in the regular season, but the energy has changed. As a fan, this transformation already brings hope because Washington needed to stop relying solely on familiar names. Kalavon Chesson is one of the clearest examples. The outside linebacker took a chance on himself by signing a 1-year contract, even having a more secure offer from the New Orleans Saints. The choice was risky, but Chesson understood that Washington could offer a greater opportunity to increase his value in the next season. From what he showed in the summer, the decision seems smarter by the day. The player chosen in the first round in 2020, coming from LSU, quickly took on a prominent position alongside Odafe Owe. In Durante Jones's 3-4 defense, Chesson has been using speed and aggression to attack blockers. Even dealing with a knee issue, there are no indications that it is something serious. His participation has been one of the reasons why the pressure from the front line has drawn so much attention. Owe came in as the most expensive signing, but Chesson could be the surprise that changes the rotation. If he can repeat the good performance from last season with the New England Patriots, Washington will have 2 pass rushers capable of creating different problems. Owe offers strength and explosiveness. Chesson can attack gaps with speed. This combination could force opposing quarterbacks to make quicker decisions. Amik Robertson also represents the new defensive posture. Washington needed players willing to compete on every snap, and the cornerback arrived with a lot of energy. His signing generated mixed opinions at first, but his attitude on the field quickly changed that perception. Robertson communicates, competes for the ball, and does not seem intimidated by the responsibility of organizing the secondary. Trey Amos's injury ended up increasing his opportunity. Amos participated in only 1 complete practice this preseason, and Robertson took on more repetitions than expected. The situation is not ideal, but the new cornerback took advantage of the opportunity. Durante Jones wants an aggressive and versatile defense, and Robertson's attitude fits perfectly with that proposal. Chig Okonkwo is Peters' big offensive bet. With David Blau taking over the coordination, the Commanders intend to use tight ends more. Zach Ertz's departure opened up space for a faster player, and Okonkwo received a 3-year contract worth $27 million with a $7 million bonus and $16.7 million guaranteed. The investment shows the franchise's expectations. The tight end has had good moments with Tennessee, but he has not yet reached his full potential. In Washington, the situation seems more favorable. Okonkwo has size, acceleration, route-changing ability, and good production after the catch. Moreover, his blocking is better than many imagine. The connection with Jaden Daniels has been evolving, and this could change the offense's structure. Daniels and Okonkwo have already shown understanding in several practices. When Stephon Diggs and Terry McLaurin draw cornerbacks away, the young tight end finds space in the middle. Blau can use this movement to create short passes, receptions after the line of scrimmage, and plays that keep possession moving forward. For a team that needs to support its quarterback, this partnership could be crucial. Nick Cross is another signing that aims to address an evident flaw. Washington allowed Jeremy Chinn to leave for Las Vegas and didn't find someone capable of replicating his defensive energy. Peters didn't make an exaggerated change, but brought in Cross, a safety with characteristics to influence the run game. The player from Maryland finished among the best in the league in this role last season. There are still doubts in coverage, but the surrounding roster has gotten stronger. Cross can play closer to the line, anticipate blocks, and attack ball carriers aggressively. During practices, he showed good reading and the ability to identify plays before they fully develop. This physical presence was lacking at several moments during the previous season, and his arrival could give a different personality to the defense. Rasul Douglas provides the necessary experience to balance so many young players. The cornerback signed a one-year contract that could reach $3.8 million with incentives. Tall and strong, Douglas plays both in man coverage and zone. This flexibility is important for Jones, who intends to change alignments and disguise the defense's intentions until the snap. Amos's situation makes Douglas even more necessary. If the young player is not ready to start the season, the veteran can take on a greater role without requiring deep changes in the system. Douglas was not signed as a permanent solution, but he can stabilize the secondary, while Washington develops other pieces. In a long season, this experience will have great value. Sonny Styles completes the list of new additions that caught the most attention. After Bobby Wagner's departure, Washington needed to find a linebacker capable of taking on responsibility in the future. Styles was selected 7th overall in the 2026 draft and has impressive athletic traits. His results at the Combine were historic, but the most important thing will be to translate physical ability into correct decisions. The player from Ohio State is still learning the professional speed. An initial performance generated exaggerated reactions on social media, but the coaching staff did not lose confidence. Styles needs to improve his reads, angles, and communication, but he possesses the tools to become a central piece of the defense for many years. Peters is not just thinking about the next game, he is trying to build the foundation for the next decade. Odafe Oweh was the signing that made Peters' intentions clearer. After the 2025 season, the general manager stated that Washington needed to put more pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Oweh signed for 4 years and $96 million, with a $26 million bonus and $68 million guaranteed. Some analysts consider the value high, but the franchise will accept the cost if the production justifies the investment. The pass rusher dominated the joint practice against Miami and created difficulties for Washington's tackles. The Penn State player is dealing with a minor calf injury, but if he is available in Week 1, he could be one of the biggest issues for opponents. The defense needed someone capable of changing the game on their own, and Oweh seems ready to take on that role. And these 7 players show a clear shift. Peters is not just filling spots. He is looking for athletes with specific characteristics. Chasen adds speed, Robertson adds competitiveness, Okonkwo offers dynamics on offense. Cross strengthens the running game, Douglas brings experience, Styles points to the future, and Oweh leads the pressure. The preseason is not over yet, but the general manager's vision is starting to appear on the field. As the reinforcements gain traction, Rachaad White became a topic for a very different reason. The running back missed some practices due to an initially undisclosed injury. As often happens, social media began to create increasingly strange explanations. This time, a story emerged about an alleged accident involving a bucket of ice. The theory was so unusual that it quickly gained traction on the internet. Some people suggested that White might have injured himself during a prank or ice bath. Injury analyst Jeff Mueller even posted a prediction about a possible groin strain. For a fan base accustomed to unexpected news, the rumor seemed absurd, but not impossible. The reality was much simpler. Nikki Javala reported that White suffered a thigh injury during the joint practice with the Dolphins. Mike Garafolo confirmed that the running back felt discomfort the week before in Miami. The organization does not view the problem as serious or long-term. Therefore, there was no mysterious accident, just a common injury during a period of heavy contact. White was even healthy enough to practice before the preseason debut, but Washington preferred to manage his workload. The decision makes sense because the running back group has already lost Jerome Ford to injured reserve, and Jeremy McNichols is also dealing with an injury. The franchise cannot risk losing its primary option for receptions for an extended period. White's role is especially important because he complements Jackery Krosky-Merritt on first downs. While Krosky-Merritt can offer more strength and presence on early runs, White helps in the passing game, protection, and situations where the quarterback needs a reliable outlet. Without him, the offense would have less variety. Therefore, even a minor injury deserves careful monitoring. The good news came on Thursday when Rachaad White returned to practice. The return indicates that the injury is managed and that the rest worked. Even if the bucket of ice rumor had any relation to the case, White would have already recovered. The truth, however, is less curious and much more reassuring for the Commanders. The running back felt his thigh and bounced back quickly. This update also helps alleviate pressure on rookies Catron Allen and Robert Henry Jr. The two remain important for the roster's formation, but do not need to be thrust into a larger role due to an emergency. Henry impressed with speed and cuts. Allen showed strength and utility in short yardage situations. With White back, the staff can evaluate everyone more evenly. The offensive depth is one of the positive consequences of Peters' new strategy. In the past, an injury could leave a position unaddressed. Now, young players like Allen and Henry are getting opportunities and showing they can contribute. White doesn't need to carry all the possessions, which can preserve his body throughout the season. A balanced attack relies precisely on this division. On defense, the same logic appears with Robertson, Douglas, Cross, Styles, and Chesson. Injuries are still a concern, but there are more options capable of taking snaps. The goal is not to eliminate all problems, something impossible in the NFL. The aim is to prevent a single absence from derailing the functioning of the entire unit. So far, Peters seems to have built more prepared alternatives. The most important test will be to transform August's enthusiasm into production when the games matter. Owe needs to pressure, Okonkwo needs to solidify the connection with Daniels, Styles needs to develop, and Cross needs to prove that his coverage limitations are manageable. White, for his part, needs to stay healthy and provide the versatility the offense expects. As a fan, it's impossible not to appreciate the energy of the new players. The franchise appears faster, more competitive, and more willing to correct mistakes. There are still risks, especially when a seemingly minor injury can affect an already pressured position. But Washington's response has been responsible, preserving White, monitoring his recovery, and preventing an unfounded rumor from turning caution into panic. In the end, the Ice Bucket incident ended up revealing something important. The fans were so attentive to each absence because they know the season can be decided by the depth of the roster. White is back, and that eases the offense. At the same time, the 7 reinforcements continue to validate Peters' vision, creating real hope for the defense and for the connection between Daniels and Okonkwo. Now the big question is whether this new energy will remain when the season starts. If Owe and Chesson maintain the pressure, Styles grows rapidly, Okonkwo dominates the middle of the field, and White stays healthy, Washington will have a very different identity. The question is inevitable. Will Adam Peters' overhaul finally give the Commanders the consistency needed to compete? Or are these positive signs still just the beginning of another promise that needs to be validated